Good day and welcome to Sports Paradise. I'm Dub, short for Big Dub, and remember, when you have a plan, follow your plan. Everyone thinks they know what's best for you, but just be patient and do everything on your own time. You never know how your plan will go until you try it yourself. Just believe in yourself, your plan, and execute it to perfection. Maximum effort, as Deadpool would say. Okay. Hope everyone had a good weekend. We're back with a new episode of Sports Paradise. The NHL and NBA playoffs are officially underway. The MLB season is still just getting started. We're a bit far from the playoffs for them, but no rush. October will be here before you know it. It was a typical Grand Prix weekend in Formula One, and to no one's surprise, Chelsea couldn't come through in the clutch. And after all of that, we'll update how the end of my fantasy hockey season went, and we'll talk about the MLB fantasy season that's going on so far. Okay, so Chelsea and the FA Cup. We watched during this week Man City play 90 minutes plus extra time plus another half an hour of like overtime, then go to penalty kicks and lose. That was physically draining, mentally draining, and Chelsea was just coming off a 6-0 win against Everton. You thought they would get some momentum, score some goals, but they couldn't score one goal. They had their chances, but they couldn't score a single goal. Throughout the game, Man City, they're looking like themselves, but they're also not as dominant as we're used to seeing, especially when they face Chelsea, and Chelsea always shows up for those games. Because Chelsea, they could be a good team if they could finish their chances. Man City didn't have many threatening chances, not many situations where Chelsea was on their heels for a period of time, a lengthy period of time. But Pep Guardiola, he brings on the X Factor, Jeremy Doku, and just like against Real Madrid, he came on, created a play. De Bruyne finished it against Madrid. This time, Doku came on, made a play, rebound off Petrovic, and went right to Bernardo Silva, who made no mistake, and made it 1-0. And then at that point, I forgot how much time was on the clock during that when that goal happened, but it wasn't enough time for Chelsea to come back. It happened maybe with like 80 minutes probably to go, or 80 minutes in the game. So 10 minutes to go. So after Bernardo Silva took one of the most pathetic penalties you ever see against Real Madrid, he came back and redeemed himself greatly and broke Chelsea's hearts. It's sad to see Chelsea couldn't score a goal. I don't know what they have to do. Of course, score a goal, but these cup games, like Liverpool, they couldn't score, lost. Man City, they couldn't score, lost. But this was a semi-final, not even a final. They should have scored. They should have won that game. Man City were exhausted. Haaland didn't even play. Foden wasn't getting that many chances. De Bruyne wasn't getting that many chances. Alvarez wasn't getting that many chances. The defense were getting tired. Nico Jackson was running by them, but he just couldn't finish. But one thing that did happen, though, which is, they could have scored more than one goal, but how was that not a penalty on Jack Grealish for handball off Cole Palmer's penalty kick or free kick? Like, just outside the box, Cole Palmer kicked the ball and it was deflected out of bounds. But only the thing is that that deflection came off the arm of Jack Grealish, and that should have been a clear handball. So I'm watching it. Everyone else is watching it, just confused out of their minds because a handball, that's a penalty, right? And it wasn't like it was an accident. It wasn't like Grealish had his arms behind his back. Grealish had his arm stuck out, and it actually prevented the ball from going towards the net. It deflected off his hand, off his arm, and went out of bounds. That's a penalty as far as what I've seen in the Premier League, and as far as what I've seen watching football. A handball in the box is a penalty, especially when it's so blatant. And that was a blatant handball. It literally affected the shot. That's the thing. And Chelsea fans, Pochettino, you could see he had a clear view of that handball, and they checked, like VAR checked it. 10 seconds later, play on. So that was kind of confusing. It seemed like I wasn't watching a whole bunch of post game, but it didn't seem like there was a whole ruckus about that penalty not being awarded, because Chelsea just still lost, and they had a lot of chances to score and they just couldn't score. It's a shame too, because they should have won that game, and they could have won that game, just like the Liverpool game they lost. And it's tough watching Nico Jackson sometimes. I mean, besides Cole Palmer, he's like my favorite Chelsea player. I want him to do well. Like, I really want him to get the monkey off his back, score some goals, create some positive energy for us. And he's been scoring here and there, but then he just misses the chances. He doesn't have that killer instinct, that striker's instinct to win the game, to score the goals, to come up clutch. It's like he gets into the box and he just doesn't know what to do. He's thinking too much about the next play, about whether he should just shoot it or go around, just trying to be fancy. Just take the shot. It's always better to take the shot than not take the shot. He had more chances. When this time he shot it, saved. Cole Palmer got the rebound, tried to lob it into the box. Nico Jackson, just put your head on it. It's in the back of the net. He couldn't do that. And he had multiple chances of running down the wing, trying to make plays, but he just couldn't do it. And sometimes he was by himself. It was tough because Kyle Walker on Man City is a great defense player. He has the speed to keep up with Nico and probably anyone on the pitch except for maybe Mudryk or like Kylian Mbappe, if he was playing, if that was like a Champions League matchup. But it's tough to get all these chances constantly and not score. Nico Jackson, he seems to be better as a wing player than as a striker, because he can run down the wing full speed, create plays, handle the ball, pass the ball to the box, and maybe someone else can score. But they need a striker. And even though you want Nico to improve, even though, like I said, maybe you don't have to pay so much for like Victor Osimhen because Nico's gonna improve. Like a team like Chelsea, with such a historic history, a legendary football club in England and the world, they're running out of patience. This is now back-to-back seasons where they've underperformed, about to have another season with no trophies, and they've had injuries, sure, but they've had their chances to win big games and they haven't came through. I don't know who their striker is going to be. Is that going to be Nkunku? Are they going to buy a striker in the off season during the summer transfer window? But they can't go into next season with Jackson as their striker, because he has to learn how to be a killer, a striker. He has to be able to do that. And once he does, if he does, then watch out, because he's going to be just scoring goals like crazy. But for now, it's just very cringeworthy what he does. Like, he had an open shot, he went around the goalie and didn't even get a shot. He just passed it off, and that was it. and it's just like you're watching him, and it's like he wanted to do so well. Like he loves the team. Like his energy is top notch. Like he just wants to do well, but he doesn't have that instinct, and it's just tough to watch. It's tough to watch. Cole Palmer isn't a striker. Cole Palmer has 20 plus goals this season in all competitions. Nico, he has about like 13 goals in all competitions. If he could finish his chances, he'd be up there too with Cole Palmer, 20 goals. Chelsea would have a better record in the Premier League. They would have probably won Liverpool in the Carabao Cup. They would probably beat Man City, going on to face Coventry, or not, well, United in the FA Cup finals. You know, they'd have a chance to get to Europe and be in at least the Europa League next season. But no, not enough goals. Not enough goals. But hey, it's not only his fault. It's not only Jackson's fault. It's the whole team not being able to score goals. And for once, they played solid defense yesterday or Saturday against Man City. But like I said, Man City probably couldn't score because they were exhausted physically and mentally from their Real Madrid game, which is, 10 times the competition that the FA Cup is. So that could be why they didn't allow any goals, because make no mistake, those defense for Chelsea, they were to start the game, at least they were pretty shaky, giving the ball away, making risky passes. But like I said, so was Man City, but they had an excuse for being tired. Chelsea's coming off 6-0 at 6-0 versus Everton, and this is how they perform. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. So Chelsea's next game is tomorrow, 23rd of April, against Arsenal. First game of the season, Chelsea was up 2-0, and typical, they blew that lead and ended up tying. This time, Chelsea's going to be at the Emirates Stadium, Arsenal's home, and Arsenal, they must win that game. They're out of Champions League. They're out of winning any trophies. So the Premier League is all they have, and they're going to come out trying desperately to win that game. And Chelsea is going to, try their best to prevent it, which they very well could if they can score, at least, well, Arsenal is a very good team. They're good offensively, midfield, and defensively. It's going to be hard to score, at least 3 goals, but that's probably what they have to score, unless they play good defense and prevent and only get only allow 1 goal, 2 goals, maybe at least draw Arsenal. But to win, Chelsea probably will need to score 3. And is Cole Palmer going to score another hat trick? Who knows? Probably not, but he could. That's the thing. Nico Jackson, he gets his goals here and there. He could score. Madueke, Mudryk, Conor Gallagher, they're all capable of getting some good goals. It's just, can they? Will they? Do they have the mental toughness to want to, spoil Arsenal's season? Which I hope they do. I mean, if I'm Pochettino, I'm like, we win for ourselves. But if I'm a player, I'm like I want to play spoiler for Arsenal. I don't want them to roll over us, win Premier League. I want them to go home, hanging their, or well, they're already gonna be at home, but I want them to go back, to the locker room, hanging their heads like, Chelsea beat us. Like they actually beat us, and now we're really in a bad spot to win the Premier League. Like last year we blew it. This year we blew it again. I want Chelsea to have that sort of mentality, that we're gonna bury you mentality, and they have to show up tomorrow. I want them, Chelsea, to try that 2 midfield approach that they did against Everton. I mean, Enzo could play, Conor Gallagher could play, Caicedo could play, but one of them maybe has to be on the bench and just go with Palmer, Mudryk, Madueke, and Nico up front. See how that works. And the defense has to be strong. We'll see who starts the next game against Arsenal because they played another heavy game on Saturday, so could be a bit fatigued. But Arsenal played recently too, so they could also be fatigued. But that's Premier League, that's world class football for you. So let's see how it goes. Praying that Chelsea can find a way to win. I have to find a way. So that was an FA Cup semi-final. Chelsea versus Man City. Man City's going on to the championship, and they're going to be facing their city rivals, Manchester United. But here's the thing about Manchester United. If there's one team who could make Chelsea look good, who could be even worse than Chelsea, that's Manchester United. They were up 3-0 against a championship side team, and they blew the lead. They won. Coventry made it 3-3. They made it 3-3. Like the last goal to tie it up was a penalty. For once a handball got called, and that was a penalty, and the Coventry player finished it smooth as could be. He finished it, and I'm like, that was a handball. Why wasn't Jack Grealish's handball called a handball and penalty? Cole Palmer finish out, go up 1-0, win the game. But it wasn't meant to be for Chelsea. Coventry it was, and they went to extra time, played another half an hour, and you just thought that. So in extra time, Bruno Fernandes hit the crossbar, bam, to bar down, didn't go in the back of the net. But then, with in the legit 100th, or not 100th, but they played half an hour of extra time. So in the 30th minute of extra time, Coventry scored. They scored. I was like, that's unbelievable. Man United, their ultimate choke jobs. Couldn't believe it. But of course, as usual, they got bailed out. I don't know. They called it offside, and it was probably one of the closest offsides you'll ever see, where it was barely even offside. They probably didn't have to call it offside if they probably didn't want to have a Man City versus Man United FA Cup final. It's too bad. It went to penalties, and it seemed like Man United could handle the pressure, but Coventry couldn't handle the pressure. And even though Man United missed their first penalty, that was all they missed. Coventry missed back-to-back. One guy kicked it way over the net. Onana made a good save for another one. And voila. FA Cup final, I believe 25th of May at Wembley Stadium, is going to be Man United versus Man City. A rematch of last year's FA Cup final where Man City won that game, of course. So, Manchester City is trying to win. Last year they won the treble. This year trying to win the double, Premier League and FA Cup. So we'll see how they do. I'm gonna watch that game, and I'm gonna hope that Man City wins, but we'll see. So speaking of excitement, speaking of some tournaments, the NHL playoffs are officially underway. It was an exciting weekend in the NHL. Game ones, they tend to be good, but there was a few blowouts. Of course, it happened to my teams, but let's go over it. So, Carolina won 3-1 against the Islanders, and they went up 1-0 in the series. That was kind of an expected result. I really, the Islanders might win one, but they might get swept two. The Carolina's a good team. Panthers, they had a tougher time against Tampa Bay, but they managed to win 3-2 and go up 1-0 in the series. That's that series. It should go 7 games. You never know what could happen. Like Florida could sweep. It could go 5, 6, 7 games. But realistically, I think that's a series that should go the distance. Tampa Bay is a good team. They have great players. Just I guess they don't have the depth that the Panthers do. But I don't know. I feel like Tampa Bay got off to a slow start because Vasilevsky was out for the first 2 months, 2.5 months. But they still have Kucherov, still have Point, still have Hedman, still have Stamkos. They got some good players at the trade deadline, so they should manage to win a game, come out next game and maybe win that game 2, tie the series up. The Western Conference, the Jets won 7-6. 7-6 against the Avs in a playoff game. Like, when have you ever seen that? Connor Hellebuck is probably going to win the Vezina Trophy, and like Gorgiev has had a good season too. But 7-6, that's insane. So the Jets won that game and went up 1-0. The Canucks, that game happened pretty late. I was already sleeping, but I saw they were down 2-1 to Nashville, and I believe they came back and they won that 4-2. So good for them. I picked them to win that series. Yesterday, the Capitals, everyone's teasing them, saying, "Oh, Rangers in 3, blah blah blah. They don't deserve to be here. The worst team in the playoff history." But they're in the playoffs and they earned their spot. They had to win these games. They beat Boston. They beat Philadelphia Flyers on the last game of the season when they had to win those games. So they deserve to be here. They had a strong second half and they deserve to be here in the playoffs. But the Rangers are a good team. I hope the Caps can, learn from last game, come out and be different, be more efficient, more stronger. But they just don't have the I don't know, it wasn't even they had to dominate. It's tough seeing them because I'm used to watching the Capitals in the playoffs dominate, have 30 shots, 35 shots, and then the goalie shuts them down and they lose. They won the Stanley Cup, of course. But yesterday I was just watching them get dominated, and they couldn't, get some key saves. They couldn't pressure Igor Shesterkin. They couldn't control the play. Their power play was, horrendous. Ovi didn't have a shot on net for the entire game. So it's they can do much better than that. They can, and they must. The Leafs, on the other hand, you could say that was an expected result, losing 5-1 to Boston. For some reason, Nylander didn't play. Sheldon Keefe isn't saying anything about why he didn't play, what his injury is, what his status is for game 2. But the Leafs, they really need Nylander to play because he's arguably their best player. Not their best goal scorer, but someone who can create, who can score goals, get assists, control the puck, skate fast, etc., etc. They didn't have that. But honestly, I wouldn't say the Leafs played bad. They had their chances, but they couldn't score. A whole bunch of posts. Matthews hit the post. It was tough. But even Boston hit the post quite a bit too. And but those posts went in for Boston, it would have been if all the posts went in, it probably would have been like 7-3 for Boston. So either way, the post, is a blessing and a curse. But yeah, the Leafs, they got to be better. So tonight is Leafs versus Boston game 2. Hopefully William Nylander is back for us, for the Leafs. We need him. We need him. Can't say anything more besides that. Carolina and the Islanders play game 2. Hopefully that can be a good series. You want to see some game 7s. I don't want to see game 7 versus with the Leafs or the Caps, but I'd rather see game 7s just in general. And then tonight, the Western Conference continues with, the first games between Vegas Golden Knights and Dallas Stars is tonight, game 1. And Oilers and Kings, game 1 is also tonight. I think I picked Vegas to win that series, and I picked the Oilers to win that series. So hopefully they can get off to a strong start and win those games. NHL playoffs, it's a different feeling. You wait all spring or all winter, fall for NHL playoffs, and they're here. There's a chance to win a Stanley Cup. 16 wins is all it takes. Speaking of 16 wins, waiting fall and winter for the playoffs. NBA playoffs also started this weekend. Saturday was the first leg of games, and the Cavs looked dominant against the Orlando Magic, and they went up 1-0. That Minnesota Timberwolves defense is like the twin towers of Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns. It's tough to drive in and score and get easy baskets. The Suns, they kind of got blown out. They lost by 25 against Minnesota. Like, Devin Booker didn't have his strongest game, and you hope that he's gonna improve. Anthony Edwards really went off. So we'll see how game 2 goes, but hopefully the Suns can win that series. But Minnesota is a good team. Like, they were second place or third place in the Western Conference for a reason, while Suns were down, struggling. So they are a good team. And like Kevin Durant, he's like a historic player. Devin Booker is a great player, but when it comes down to team performance, Minnesota, they were second place, third place in the Western Conference. So they're a good team. So it was a very, very, very tight game between the Knicks and the Sixers to start. But then Joel Embiid, he went down. He came back from injury. The Sixers won like 7 in a row. They won the play-in tournament game, and now they're facing the Knicks, and it was tight. But then his first slam dunk since coming back, of course, he had to land awkwardly on his leg, and he just went down. He just tumbled down, and he was down and didn't look good. I don't think that he was out of the game from there, but I saw his statistics, and I think he shot like 8 of 22. So he was really feeling it, and after that, he wasn't the same. After that, the game, it wasn't close. Knicks went up 1-0 in the series. And it's not looking good for the Sixers. Kyle Lowry, Nick Nurse, ex-Raptors, they have the championship, but the Sixers might be cursed. And going into game 1, the Lakers, all the news was they lost 8 in a row versus the Nuggets, including last year's playoffs where they got swept. And after game 1, the Lakers have lost 9 in a row to the Nuggets and counting. Nuggets, I mean, people think just because it's LeBron they have a chance, but the Nuggets are the best team in the league. Jokic is the best player in the league. LeBron was the best player in the league. He no longer is. The Lakers are not a solid, like, they're not a great team at all. They aren't. Their record shows it. Denver is the best team in the league, so Anthony Davis, D'Angelo Russell, they got to show up. The role players, they got to show up, but Denver is still better. So the second day of the playoffs, the Miami Heat without Jimmy Butler, they really don't stand a chance, and they might get swept by the Celtics. First game, they got blown out. Clippers were without Kawhi Leonard, but they still beat Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, Dallas Mavericks. They still won pretty easily, going up 1-0 in that series. Yesterday, there was another blowout. Milwaukee Bucks without Giannis Antetokounmpo beat the Pacers. Damian Lillard got a playoff win. He doing his usual Dame time stuff. 35 points, played pretty well. Good for him. And the last game of the night was a close game between the Thunder and the Pelicans, and the Thunder got by They won by 2. So good for the Thunder. A young team. They could have, crumbled. But also Pelicans are a young team. Zion wasn't playing. So good for the Thunder. Up 1-0. We'll see how they do the rest of the way. Tonight, Game 2 of Cavs and Magic. Cavs might go up 2-0. Sixers and Knicks Game 2. Knicks probably will go up 2-0. I don't see Embiid playing. If he does play, he won't be anywhere near what he was even when he came back. It's going to be just a different story. And Tyrese Maxey, Kelly Oubre, they're not those kind of players. They're not those game-changing players where the Knicks are just a solid team. And tonight, the Lakers are looking to avoid losing 9 straight to the Nuggets. But they probably, who knows what happened. But they play tonight trying to avoid going down 0-2. Nuggets trying to go up 2-0 and continue to mock LeBron James and the Lakers franchise. But of course, it's just competition. Everyone knows, everyone respects LeBron, but Nuggets are just a much better team than the Lakers. So the Toronto Blue Jays were in San Diego this weekend. They were playing a tough game against a tough series against a good team, the Padres. But they managed to win 2 of 3. For the past few series now, the Jays have been winning 2 of 3 where they just lost. Well, against Colorado, they lost the first game, won the next 2. But the Yankees won the first 2, couldn't sweep. Against the Padres, won the first 2, couldn't sweep. But in both those games, they had opportunities to win. Like the Yankees, they were up. Like the Jays were up against the Yankees, and they blew the lead. They lost. Extra innings. Couldn't hold on. Couldn't capitalize on runners in scoring position. They just don't have that gene in them where they have. Like they could have had. Well, obviously they could have had a much better record, but they can't be losing games when they should sweep. Good teams, they just sweep. Because it's not like in the final game, the starters got blown up. It was a blowout. They didn't have a chance. They could have swept the Yankees and they could have swept the Padres, being on a 6-game winning streak now, or a longer one because they won the last 2 against Colorado. But when it comes down to it, they just don't have that instinct, like that killer instinct that Chelsea's missing. The Jays don't have it either in order to score runs, get timely hits. Like, honestly, everyone else is. So the Jays can only score 5 runs a game. It seems like they don't score their runs. Sometimes they score their runs late, but that's like when they're already down trying to come back. They hardly can get positive insurance runs. But when it comes down to it, it's the big dogs. So pretty much starting pitching has been incredible. Yariel Rodriguez, fantastic so far in his 2 first MLB starts. Berrios, Gosman has been getting better. Bassett, he had a rough start, but it's not like he got blown up. It was hard, but the relievers, they've been good. The not so good ones have been struggling, but the ace relievers have been great. Swanson kind of been a bit iffy since coming back, but Romano, Garcia, Chad Green on the IL. So they're gonna have to hopefully, not have games where they need saving or holds. Just blow some teams out for once. Be confident. Get some timely hits. But here's the thing. So to start the season, Justin Turner, he's been doing great, very consistent. Hasn't been as hot as he was to start, but that's expected. He was hitting like 400. He's still getting some hits. Maybe he's a bit cold right now, but Dalton Varsho has been on fire these past 3, like from Colorado series to now. He's been on fire. He leads the team in home runs, like he does. David Schneider, Ernie Clement, they getting timely hits, timely home runs. Why can't Vladdy, Bo, George Springer do the same? Why can't they get timely hits? Why can't they get some home runs? Why can't they? George Springer overran the ball in right field, a lot of runs to score. He's, don't get me wrong. I have his Astros jersey. Like, George Springer is my favorite player, but he's hasn't been doing great. Springer, Bo Bichette hasn't been doing great. Vladdy hasn't been doing great. It's unacceptable for these three guys to be letting the team down like this, day in, day out, going back to last season. And like I said, last season, like Buck Martinez, Dan Shulman, the panel, Hazel May, Blue Jays, just give them some time. They're gonna pick it up. They're gonna pick it up. They have to pick it up. These hitters are too good to be held down. And for the entire season, they're mediocre. Mediocre stats, like better than your average player, but not good as what we expected from them, Not even close. And this season is starting off the same way. So the Blue Jays, their next series is going to be against the Kansas City Royals, 4 games on the road. Let's see how they do. Kansas City Royals are off to a good start. They've been getting some good pitching. They have good offense, Bobby Wood Jr. and some others. But the Blue Jays can shut them down and win. 3 out of 4. They can sweep. But don't come out of there splitting the series 2-2. Don't even dare lose the series 1-3. And if you get swept, don't even come back to Toronto, because you're not gonna be allowed in. The Jays, they have to win 3 out of 4 or sweep. Ideally, the Royals, they have a good record so far, better than the Jays, of course, not so hard, but the Jays are a better team, and they have to assert themselves as being the better team against the Royals. They're on the road, but they can do it. They have the tools to do it. Barshow, stay hot. Clement, Schneider, stay hot. It's just Vladdy, Bo, Springer. If they get some timely hits, they're gonna sweep. They're gonna win the series, because the pitching, is gonna show up, right? It's just those 3 supposed all-stars. They don't show up. The Jays have a second baseman in the minors named Orelvis Martinez. He's been hitting some home runs as of late, and they might have to call him up. But I don't see him. They can still be patient with him, because I don't see, look at Jackson Holiday. Not been doing good at all since his call up. They might send him back down. That'll be tough to see, but they might send him back down if he continues to struggle like he's struggling, striking out, a lot of strikeouts, only 1 hit in his first 10 games. So it's not easy. It's not easy at all. We'll talk more about some individual fans, some individual MLB players once I'm showing my fantasy league updates. So this weekend in Formula One, they were in China for the Chinese Grand Prix, the first time racing there since 2019. I believe Lewis won that race back when Mercedes was a top-notch team. It's fun listening to Nico Rosberg. Nico Rosberg, he was a teammate of Lewis Hamilton with Mercedes before Valtteri Bottas came in, and Nico Rosberg won a world championship with Mercedes, with Lewis as his teammate, and it's fun to hear him commentate on things. He really knows his stuff, and he has good opinions, and he's not afraid to share them. But this weekend was a sprint race weekend. So before the actual qualifying and Grand Prix, there was a sprint qualifying. I forgot to hit record on the, not to hit, I'm just saying that I forgot to just record it in general, and I woke up and I saw that Lewis qualified second in the sprint. So I was like, wow, then I saw the highlights, and then I saw it was raining, and I was like, okay, like Lewis can drive in the rain. He's like one of the best driver in the rain. So even with a slow car, he could qualify second. Lando qualified first for the sprint, and during the race, Lewis was ahead for some time until Max came rolling through and passed him. But the sprint was quite exciting. It was quite exciting. Only 19 laps, so there was a lot of overtaking, a lot of high speed events, a lot of near like close calls when it comes to making contact. But Max won that rather easily. But Lewis came in second, so that was good to see. Checo came in third. Checo Perez, Red Bull. But qualifying for the Grand Prix was a whole different story. Lewis Hamilton came second in the sprint qualifying. On the regular qualifying, he came in 18th. He qualified 18th for the race. Oh my God. What can I say? It's tough. It's tough watching Lewis perform like this, but hey, next season, Ferrari, we'll see how they do. But anyways, Max Verstappen quickly asserting himself as the top 5 driver. Paul qualified first for Red Bull. Checo Perez qualified second. Alonso came in third for qualifying. And Fernando Alonso has been doing really well in the Aston Martin. Like Lance Stroll, he struggles to get points, but Alonso has been doing rather well in the same car as Lance Stroll. There was a moment where he was trying to catch up to Lewis, and Alonso was on faster tires, like fresher tires, but he was chasing. Was he chasing? Or he already? Yeah, he was chasing down Lewis. Going into a turn, his wheel hit the gravel. The car like snapped to one side, and Fernando had to like control it, and that was like a professional move. Like the car went on the gravel. Sometimes you see that happen, and the car spins out into the barriers. But Alonso saved it. So good. That was very impressive. Very impressive, because that could have been out of the race just like that in a matter of seconds. So the McLarens, they did rather well. The Ferraris during qualifying didn't do that well, but the race was kind of exciting. There was a few safety cars. 3 10-second penalties were handed out, and it made it so anything can happen. What's gonna happen? Are they gonna pit? Is anyone's race gonna be ruined? Etc. Etc. But the top of the grid was mostly unaffected. Max is just too fast to be affected. Lando won driver of the day. He came second place, and he had a really good race. And Checo came in third. The Ferraris, they improved on their qualifying results. Charles, for once, did better than Carlos Sainz. He came fourth. Carlos Sainz fifth. George Russell came sixth in the Mercedes. Alonso kind of had a rough strategy from Aston Martin. He could have done better, but he had a tire mishap. Like, strategy wasn't good with the tires and the pit stops. So he came seventh. Piastri, he was struggling. He came eighth, but he was struggling before I think Ricardo ran into his back, and after that he was like just trying to stave off Lewis, but Lewis couldn't really come close to him. But hey, Lewis Hamilton qualified 18th, and he finished 9th. So bam, just like that, he made up like 9 places. And then to finish off the points, Nico Hülkenberg in the Haas came in 10th. I heard them contemplating some new rules, like how they might extend the points to like 12th place getting points. I don't know how I feel about that. More points would be more interesting, I guess. And And I think next season too is going to be 22 cars on the grid, 11 teams, because Audi, I believe, is coming into the F1 world. So we'll see how that goes. But it seems like 22 cars on the grid is going to be too much. But hey, more action. More money for Formula One and the FIA. But it is a business at the end of the day. So the next race, Formula One, is going to be in Miami, which is going to be another sprint weekend. So it's going to be sprint qualifying, sprint race, Grand Prix qualifying, then a Grand Prix on Sunday as usual. And since it's in Miami, it's going to be at a good time. I don't have to stay up or record it. I can just watch it when it's on. I think it's going to be on at 4 p.m. So I'm looking forward to Miami. That's a street race. Typical results should happen. But at least the sprint might be different than the actual race. So we'll see. We'll see how these cars do. So now on to some fantasy sports. When I last updated, you saw that I kind of botched my win in basketball, but there was still a couple of days left, like 4 days left in the fantasy hockey league. Let's see the results of those. Okay, so Toronto's very own champion. Toronto's very own. That's me, baby. I finished the season 130, 84, and 6. That wasn't even the best record, but the playoffs, I came through. My team finished with 24 goals, 50 assists, 38 penalty minutes, a good time on ice, 208 shots, power play points, and I won 7-3. Dominated. Look at my goaltending stats. He only had an 87 save percentage, 3-6 goals against. If I had any form of goaltending, it would have been a blowout. I only would have lost in plus minus, which for the entire season my team was terrible at plus minus. But I could have won 9-1 if I had any form of goaltending whatsoever. So going into next season, I'm going to have a choice to keep one player on my team. For the past 10 years or so, I've been keeping. Where is this man? This man right here, Alex Ovechkin. Next season, he's gonna, hopefully break Gretzky's record, and he's gonna be on my team to get that. One championship. Toronto Maple Leafs champion. That's me, baby. Toronto Maple Leafs. This was a close game. I had to make some key additions to end the season in order to ensure my victory. But I got it. 21 goals. I want look. Last game of the season, I was debating who to add, but I added this guy, Zetterlund from the Sharks, got a goal. Faber, Uyghur, Trevor Moore got a goal. I benched Juin, didn't score. I added Laurent Brosseau last game to get me a win, and he got it. Didn't get the best stats, but he got the win. Major key, getting that win. Tied it up. Those goals, 4 goals. I was down 17 to 18 in goals. 4 goals, got me 21 goals. 50 assists, not even close. Plus 14, plus minus. Penalty minutes, power play points, shots, block shots. Bam. Domination. And just like my last league, if I had any form of goaltending, it wouldn't have been close again. Because look, he had only 88, 3 goals against average. Like 85, 3.9, that's disgusting. That's just horrendous goaltending. And next season, I have to improve my goaltending. So next season, this league, we keep 6 players. So I'm not sure who I'm going to keep as yet. I have no goalies to keep. I'm probably going to keep Miller, Barkov, Svechnikov, Pedersen, Uyghur. It's gonna be close because like I have Ek, Kadri, Marner. Yeah, I'm gonna keep Marner for sure. Uyghur is gonna be like he's a great player, all around stats, 20 goals as a defenseman. But then I have like I might not keep Caulfield. Maybe I won't keep Svechnikov, but we'll see. We'll see. 2 championships. Well, I guess this league was the one that was called for all the goals, and as you can see, it's called wire to wire. That was just me being full of myself because I beat my friend who beat me in basketball. But look at that domination, 41-point victory. Wasn't even close. That's why it's called wire to wire. You can't really see the stats like the categories, but yeah, Austin Matthews carried me. Couldn't score 70 goals, but he did enough. Arvidsson, Cole Caulfield, great weeks. So the total, this is my team, 69 goals, 75 assists. 44 goals, 80 assists. Like, all those goals mattered. That's what my team was called, for all the goals. 69 goals to 44 goals. He had some good goaltending. He had his usual Carolina goalies. Anderson, Kochetkov, his Florida goalies, Bobrovsky. He made some good ads. Got 10 goalie wins and 50 points from goaltending. And look at this. I only got 12 points from goaltending. Look at that, man. Like to end the season, Samsonov got roughed up. Jake Allen got roughed up, but Cam Talbot came through for me. Artur Silovos from Vancouver came through. Jonathan Quick made one start. He came through. I was drafted well, 137 block shots, 367 points just from offense. Dominated, almost by 100. I beat him in offensive category. If it wasn't for the goalies, it would have been like I would have won by at least 100 points. Champion, wire to wire, aka for all the goals. 3 championships for me in hockey. 3 for 3 this year. Not bad. On to fantasy baseball. So I managed to win this past week. Now my team is a nice 1-3, but it's better than 0-4. Honestly, I did believe that I wasn't gonna win a matchup all season long. I thought I was gonna go 0 for 23. But I had a good week. On Friday, my team I still lost an RBI, but my team got 21 RBIs on Friday. But that really helped with my total bases. 33 total bases on Friday, 21 RBI, only 8 runs scored, but it's okay. But my pitching was good until Cole Reagan started, and he got kind of lit up. Allowed 7 runs against Baltimore. Like, he had a good ERA, a good whip, but that shot up to 4.32 now because of these stats he got against Baltimore. Tough, but that's just a rough start against a good team. Moreno has been good this season, a bit off and on, but lately he's been good. 2 of 3, 2 RBIs last game. 2 for 5, 3 RBI, 2 runs scored. Game before that when he started. Vladdy, I guess he's been getting some hits, but where's the home runs at? Where the RBI at? You gotta be maybe he's getting there, but he's not there yet. Donovan is a utility guy, been doing here and there okay. Alec Boom, been doing quite well. 2 3-run home runs the other day. The day where I got 21 RBI, he contributed 6 of those. Pena, he only has 2 home runs. They came against the Blue Jays, but he's been getting some good hits. Melendez, he was on a cold streak, and he got a home run recently. The same day, I got 21 RBI. So everyone came through on that Friday. Frelick been getting some hits, but he's been kind of slowing down. He can make good contact. Springer not doing well at all. Eloy Jimenez came back from the injured list. He hit a home run yesterday, but he was on the bench. Bryce Alexander, I added. He was doing quite well for me. Same day, I got 21 RBI. He got 5 of them home run. So good. That was a good add. Nathaniel Lowe is back from injury. So that's good. And just my bench players been doing decent. Pitching, on the other hand, has been, rather inconsistent. Rather inconsistent, I would say. Like, sometimes they do well, sometimes they don't do well. But hopefully they do better as the season gets along. Yaya Rodriguez, great start. 4 innings pitched, 7 Ks last game. Just wasn't that efficient. My relievers have been good, but, like Munoz kind of gave up the lead last game. Blew the save. Romano's back. Foley, Garcia. So we'll see. I have good prospects. Like I said, Orelvis Martinez. It says, he hit another home run the other day, like yesterday. My pitchers, I don't know. They could be good. Tiedemann is hurt again. Ben Brown, like, he's coming out of the bullpen maybe, or starting. I don't know what's going to happen with him, but the potential is there. Unnamed Toronto team. After blowing the lead last week, I managed to get the win this week, 247 to 238. This team, the offense has been inconsistent. Pitching has been inconsistent, but I'm managing to win. Says here Bryce Harper is out. Personal paternity list, so maybe his wife is going to be having a baby soon. So I'm going to need to make some ads because he's out. So I'm going to have to make some changes as soon as possible. Tonight I have Dylan Cease pitching. He should do well, but you never know what happened. My relief pitcher is going to be pitching. But hey, I'm 2-2. I was 1-2, so now I'm 2-2, and hopefully I can get on a 2-game win streak and get up there. I'm facing this guy, Cooper's cool team. Let's see if I can beat him. He has Mookie Betts, Abrams, Tatis. Good players. Some good pitching. He's got Rodon facing Oakland tonight, or today, 1 o'clock. Lance Lynn facing Arizona. Could get some good results. Could be another high-scoring, close game. And then Anatomy of a Champion. The last fantasy team, baseball. Second place. So I'm still holding my lead. I'm still holding on to second place. I was first place, but my pitching, my offense has been doing well, but I've just been overthinking my pitching recently. I'm not starting pitchers who are, doing well. Yesterday I had to pick up Colin Rea because Christian Javier is on the IL. So I picked him up. Milwaukee won, but that was after he left the game, so I didn't get a win and didn't get a quality start, but at least he didn't allow a run. But as you can see, Saturday, what happened? Like, I started Kyle Harrison against Arizona, and look at this. Zach Eflin against the Yankees. I thought he would get blown up, didn't start him. He's been inconsistent against, solid teams. But, yeah, I should have started him, and it would have been great. Charlie Morton against Texas. Texas is a great offense. Charlie Morton, look at this. Been struggling. 4 runs allowed, 6 runs allowed. and of course quality start and the win. So a bad decision on my part. And of course, like sometimes the relievers, it's hard to guess who's gonna get stats. So if I started these guys, I would have been up there right now. Jordan Montgomery, first start against San Francisco. I was like, maybe he's not gonna do well. Maybe they won't stretch him out so far to get a quality start or a win. So I didn't put. I benched him. 17-1 victory, quality start and a win. So I think I'm just overthinking what I'm doing, and I just gotta start these pitchers. Reed Detmers tonight against Baltimore. I think he faced Baltimore already, first game, and I benched him. I remember I benched him for this game, and he got a win. Not a quality start, but he got a win and some good stats. So my pitching is good, but as you can see, like when it comes to strikeouts, I'm down here. So once it all adds up, I should be getting higher. Once my quality starts add up, should be getting higher. The wins will go along with that, but hopefully the ERA can stay where it is, and hopefully the whip can improve or stay where it is, because then I'll be really cooking. See, only 21 games started. Some teams have 46, 32, 31. So I got to just start my pitchers. Okay, so that was the weekly update of fantasy sports. Hopefully this week basketball's done, hockey's done, fantasy-wise, so it's just going to be baseball, focusing on baseball till the NFL season starts, which is going to be a whole another level of fantasy sports and time. So hopefully I can continue to do well in the rotisserie league, and we'll see how it goes this week for fantasy. Alright, so next episode, we're going to see how Chelsea does versus Arsenal. We're going to see if the Capitals and the Leafs can at least win one game in these playoff series. We're going to also keep on keeping up with the rest of the playoffs, NHL and NBA. And we're going to see how the Blue Jays do in their series against the Royals. Next episode is going to be out Thursday around 1 p.m., 2 p.m., we'll see. And it's going to be another great episode of Sports Paradise. So, as usual, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Sports Paradise. I hope you enjoy listening to me talk. I'm still improving, even though it's been around 22 episodes now since I've started. I'm getting the hang of this, just talking and giving my opinions. Since I got booked for showing highlights that time, I don't want to show highlights and get my account blocked by YouTube, etc., etc. So just bear with me as I try to perform Sports Paradise. I'm Big Dub. Remember what I said at the start of the episode. Follow your own plans. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment any opinions, thoughts, ideas you might have. And have a great day. Enjoy your week. Until Thursday.